Hey guys, welcome back to Wentworth Life and welcome back to my next installment of ranking Wentworth videos. Now, in this video I am going to be ranking things from season 2. I have actually added an extra ranking page and that is going to be basically my favourite fight scene, death scene and my favourite new character of the season. Now, I am so glad so many of you enjoyed my season 1 ranking video, and I know there's quite a few of you who have been waiting for the next installment. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so starting off my season 2 ranking is my top 3 characters. So at number 3 we have Boomer Jenkins, who has made it onto the list. She wasn't on the list for my season 1 ranking, mainly because Boomer was a bit of a background character in season 1, but she soon moved on to this list because we got to know a little bit more about her. I mean, she was still a little bit of, Frankie's heavy in a sense for season 2, but we did learn a bit more about her. At my number 2 spot is Maxine Conway. Now, a newcomer to Wentworth in season 2, Maxine is flipping amazing, made a huge impact from the very first episode that she arrived in, and she goes on to be in the next couple of seasons. There's just so much love I have for Maxine. And at number 1 we have B Smith, who hasn't moved from the number 1 spot. Now, the reason why I've kept B at number 1 is because in season 2, B is probably at some of her most badass moments. I mean, she has her fight with Frankie. She then escapes. She then kills Braden. And do you know what? I literally think that this is one of B's best seasons. She's fantastic in season 3, don't get me wrong, but I think season 2 is the season where she really stands out for me. Okay, moving on to my top 3 episodes, and we have episode 4, The Danger Within. Now, this is the episode where the Holt family, they send in a killer to go and kill B because B had attacked Braden in the previous episode. Now, we get 3 new characters and we don't know which one is going to be doing the deed. It turns out to be a blonde woman called Kat who ends up attacking B in the shower block, and they end up in a huge fight scene. It's brilliant, it's brutal. I think it's one of the first proper brutal fight scenes in Wentworth, is this shower fight scene. Of course, this is Maxine's first episode, and like I just said, I have a lot of love for Maxine, so yeah, episode 4 is definitely on the list. And number 2, and it is episode 9, The Fixer. Now, what I loved about this episode is we got to learn a bit more about Joan Ferguson. Up until this point, we didn't really know the score with Joan, but this episode revealed everything, and this episode also had one hell of a plot twist when it's revealed that Joan is actually after Will Jackson because Will Jackson took Gianna's baby because he used to be the social worker, and at this point in the show, Joan is under the impression that Gianna actually killed herself after losing her baby, but we all know the real story on that one. But yeah, this episode had it all. It's also the scene where Will and his girlfriend, the nurse, they get driven off the road. Will then goes to Harry Smith's and smashes up his van. It's just got everything, absolutely everything. I love this song, the chilling song that they play at the end of this episode. It's the song Bad Worlds. Oh, absolutely amazing. Not too good for that poor bird though, but we won't talk about that. At number 1, and it's episode 11, Into the Night. The episode to end all episodes, in my opinion. This is flipping outstanding. This could have been a season final episode. That's how good it was. Oh, can you imagine if this episode was the season final? We would have had to have waited a year to find out what happened next. Oh. So this is the episode where B and Frankie have that huge fight scene in the laundry. B then slashes her wrists. She ends up in the hospital and then she escapes. She's also sent a gun to Liz Birdsworth on the outside, and it's just outstanding, particularly that moment where B escapes. Oh my word, I had goosebumps when I first saw that episode. Okay, so my top 3 season 2 moments. So at number 3, Vera becomes Vinegar Tits. Now, this is a brilliant moment in the show. I mean, it's not a great moment for Vera particularly, but I just love this moment because there's many of you out there who are fans of the original Prisoner Cell Block H, and Vera in Prisoner was called Vinegar Tits from the very first episode, so it was interesting to see Vera's transition to become quite much more of a harder officer. She was a lot more confident, but it took a lot for her to sort of like become that person, and I think this was the final straw when she fell in all that vinegar. At number 2, and we have B and Frankie's fight. Literally one of the best fight scenes in the whole show, in my opinion. This fight goes on for quite some time, and it's brutal. It looks so real. I love the bit where B like rugby tackles Frankie and they go flying into the dryer and the door comes off. And I was watching, you know, it's in an interview somewhere, it says that wasn't supposed to happen, but they kept it in because it looked so good, and it was absolutely brilliant. I can remember I was screaming at the TV when I first saw this fight scene. I actually wish I'd filmed my reaction back then. At my number 1 spot, and it is B Escape. So I've just touched on this quite briefly, but I just think this moment literally broke the internet. It was so good. When B is like walking out of the hospital and they're playing that dramatic music in the background, B then like gets through the doors, and it's almost like a moment where she holds her breath, and we all hold our breaths as well as we're watching, thinking, come on B, you've got to go, stop, you know, don't walk slow, just run, just get out of there. Perfect, brilliant episodes. Okay, so we now have top 3 moments that either made me laugh or made me cry. So, at number 3, Boomer's makeover. Now, Boomer does have, like, you know, 2 makeovers in Wentworth, but in season 2, Boomer asks B to pretty much make her look like something on a magazine that she's found. I believe that Boomer's even put her own face, like, you know, underneath the hairdo in the magazine. And Boomer, the reason why she's doing this is because there's men from Walford working in the yard, so when Boomer walks down the yard, all the men woof whistle at her because she's got this crazy hairdo going on. Boomer's looking like a little bit like, you know, giggly and, you know, a little bit shy, I suppose. She's just like a little nervous wave, and she has like a little giggle, and it's just brilliant. It's like, it's a bit of a feel-good moment. Perfect, perfect, perfect. At number 2, and it's Mum. So let me elaborate on this one. So there is a moment in season 2 where Liz follows her daughter Sophie, and Sophie gets drunk in a pub, and she ends up leaving with a guy, and Liz is following her, and Liz sees this guy trying to make sexual advances to Sophie, so Liz storms over, throws him to the ground, and then she takes Sophie, and you can hear Sophie saying, "Who are you? Who are you?" And Liz is saying, you know, "It doesn't matter who I am, let's just get you to a taxi." Liz then puts her in a taxi, and just as the taxi drives off, Sophie looks up into Liz's face and she goes, "Mum?" Like, she's genuinely shocked that her mum has just saved her from this guy and put her in a taxi, and the taxi drives off, and I don't know, it always makes me quite teary whenever I go back and see this scene. It's just so sad, tragic, but also beautiful, all mixed into one, and I love the music that they play in this scene. At number 1, and it is a moment that made me laugh, the cum dumpster. God. So this is when Boomer has stolen the phone from the plant, Doreen's plant in the yard, and Boomer's in the shower block talking to her boyfriend because she thinks that he is rooting someone else, and then Boomer's saying things like, you know, she's talking about a woman. I can't remember who the woman's name is, but Boomer says something like, you know, she's been with like every guy in Frankston, and you know what they call her? The cum dumpster. Oh my god. Only Boomer could say something like that. And what makes the scene even funnier is that Mr. Fletcher and Will, they find Boomer and they just like, you know, hand the phone over Jenkins, and even they have got smirks on their face. Okay, so this is my new extra page that I've added to these ranking videos, and it's going to be my favourite fight, death, and new character of the season. So, my favourite new character of season 2 is Maxine. Of course, Maxine, I think, is like literally one of the best new characters to enter Wentworth. She's absolutely flipping amazing. Enough said. My fight scene, it is going to be B and Frankie. Nothing was going to beat this fight scene in season 2. Absolutely no way. They worked so hard on this fight scene and they delivered a brutal moment for us. and death scene might surprise you. I think a lot of you might be thinking I'm going to choose Braden Holt, but I'm not. I'm choosing Simone Slater. Now, the reason why I'm choosing Simone Slater is because I found the whole scene where Bea finds her dead body really like tragic, and I don't know, it kind of like hit me hard and it stuck with me, and I don't know what it was. I think it's just because Simone, she was backed into a corner just before she died. You know, the Holts were trying to force her to kill Bea, but, you know, I think Simone generally found Bea, you know, as a friend, if I'm honest, and it was just so horrible. I also think, like, when Bea found Simone's dead body, it would have reminded Bea of her daughter's death, and yeah, it's just not very pleasant, and it really stuck with me, so that's why I'm choosing Simone Slater. Okay, we're on to marry, fucking kill. So who am I gonna marry from season 2? I'm gonna marry Maxine Conway because Maxine is an absolutely beautiful soul. I'm gonna fuck Mr. Jackson, or Will Jackson, just because in season 1 I said I'd marry him, so I thought I switched up a bit, and this time I'm just gonna fuck him. Why not? And I'm gonna kill Kat. Now, Kat is that blonde woman who tried to kill Bea in episode 4 in the shower block. I'm just gonna kill her because there's nobody should do that to Bea, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm gonna kill off Kat. And that was my season 2 ranking video. Okay guys, well, you know what to do. Leave a comment in the comments box below with all of your thoughts. My next ranking video for season 3 will be released next Friday, so make sure you've got that subscribe button on, as you will not want to miss it. Okay guys, well, thank you all for watching. I'll see you all again very soon. Bye guys.